When you teach bell handling, it is important that you display confidence and structure to the process to help the new ringer understand the exercises and how they fit together to produce the result you both want. The two strokes are often taught separately, backstrokes first and then handstrokes. It's always a good idea for a new teacher to practice teaching exercises and techniques with an existing ringer to understand the process and develop confidence. You should practice both the physical exercises and soft but important skills such as the use of prompts. Before learning how to ring handstrokes, the new ringer should have developed a feeling for the bell by maintaining tension in the rope as it rises and is drawn down. This is achieved by ringing the bell all or part up from down and accomplishing backstrokes. During the exercises to introduce the handstroke, the teacher should continue to ensure that the bell is ringing below the balance. Introducing the feeling of the bell going over the balance at this stage is just adding complexity and may result in touching the stay or losing tension and control. Your learner should observe how your hands meet with the sally as it rises, how you slow your hands with it to maintain tension, and then how you speed up your hands as you draw it down. Show how your hands leave the sally and continue at speed to a low central line position on the body. This position is the end of the handstroke and also the hand position at the end of the backstroke. Learning to catch and ring handstrokes starts by getting into the rhythm. Get the bell ringing under the balance and allow the learner to see how the sally appears, rises and descends. Let your learner soak up the rhythm of the rope. Next, you move on to mirroring the teacher's movements. In this exercise, the learner copies the movement of the teacher's right hand and arm as it rings the handstroke, without actually touching the rope. The teacher needs to avoid the learner copying their hand ringing the backstroke, so as well as just one hand on the sally, you may use only the left for the backstroke until the learner fully understands the exercise. The teacher must make sure that the learner's hand maintains their vertical central body line and follows through to the correct final position. There are several variations of this exercise which will help if the learner has any difficulty. You could hold the learner's wrist and make their arm move. The learner might hold your wrist to get into the rhythm. The learner may touch the teacher's hand when it is at the top of the stroke. Clapping the sally is another alternative. This uses both hands but does teach an unnatural hand position and encourages hand separation, but it can be quite useful for getting into the rhythm. Once the learner can successfully mirror the teacher's movements, it is time to start touching the sally. Initially, with open fingers, the learner touches the sally above the teacher's hand. The teacher can then influence the height of the learner's hand on the sally to ensure it is correct, usually described as a comfortable stretch. The teacher must make sure that the learner's hand returns to the central low position and check that the learner's right hand touches the learner's left hand, which has not moved. The feeling of the hands touching acts as an automatic prompt to confirm to the learner that they have achieved the correct position. The speed of the hand as it leaves the sally should continue to increase until the low position is achieved, a bit like following through when playing bat and ball games. Next, the exercise can be developed further with the learner putting their fingers and thumb around the sally so that they are holding it with one hand. Now the learner will begin to feel the tension in the rope and the way in which the sally slows as it rises and accelerates as it descends. Once again, the learner's hand must be above the teacher's to allow the teacher to control the height of the hand and ensure that they do not interfere with the learner's feeling and controlling of the bell through tension in the rope. When the learner can ring the sally with one hand, they can then begin to use two when they feel confident enough. The teacher should gradually have less influence on the sally now, allowing the learner to feel the bell. And the teacher can control the height of the bell using backstrokes alone, still ensuring that it's below the balance. If they miss it or are late, they should just leave it. With the bell ringing under the balance, a miss should make little difference. The teacher can gradually withdraw from touching the sally, but should always be on guard in case one is mishandled or missed completely. The teacher must check that both hands always stay together, not just when on the sally. Hands should never stray far apart when ringing. They should always work as a pair. Keeping a straight rope is key to effective handling, and keeping hands together is key to achieving that. Now the learner requires lots of practice. With the teacher ringing backstrokes, they can ring the bell higher, so the learner rings the handstrokes right up to the balance. When ready, the teacher can then allow the learner to start the bell from set, to get the feeling of the bell over the balance. The teacher can catch the sally the first time until the learner becomes confident. Most learners can progress through these stages in a matter of minutes, but of course each learner is different, and teachers must adapt their teaching to meet the learning preferences and rate of each new ringer.